Have you ever felt that quiet little alarm inside you, the one that says something is not right in your relationship, especially when it comes to closeness and intimacy? If you have ever been involved with a narcissist, you may know that feeling very well. It is subtle at first, hard to explain, but it stays with you. In this script, we are going through 10 disturbing patterns narcissists may show in relationships when sex, affection, and emotional connection are involved. On the outside, it can look like love. It can sound warm. It can even feel exciting in the beginning. But underneath that polished surface, there is often something much darker and far more confusing. A narcissist does not connect in the same healthy way most people do. Their focus is different. Their motives are different. And the harm they cause can run deep before you even realize what is happening. So stay with me, because each pattern builds on the next. By the end, the whole picture will make much more sense. The first pattern is the hidden side they work so hard to keep out of sight. Narcissists are often very skilled at covering up who they truly are, especially their deeper desires and private habits. They build an image very carefully, piece by piece. They want to look normal, decent, steady, even highly moral. Friends may trust them, family may admire them, coworkers may think they are respectable and controlled. But behind that public mask, there can be a totally different reality. Their private interests may be strange, secretive, or deeply unsettling. They do not always show this side openly. In fact, they plan around it, they hide it, they reveal it only when it benefits them, and only in places where they feel safe from exposure. That is why it can take months, even years, before the truth begins to surface. They act well, they say the right things, they play the role almost perfectly. They may even describe themselves as pure, reserved, loyal, or someone who has not dated in years. It sounds convincing. That is the point. But often, that image is just a cover, a screen meant to make you believe in a version of them that is not real. Behind closed doors, the story can be very different. The same person who presents as calm, traditional, or morally clean may be involved in secret behavior that completely clashes with the image they defend in public. They may act in risky ways. They may lie easily. They may live a hidden double life while working hard to keep their reputation untouched. And that split between appearance and reality is not small. It is central to how they keep control. By showing one face to the world and another in private, they protect their influence and stay ahead of suspicion. The wider the gap becomes, the harder they work to hold it together, and the more damage it can cause when it starts to crack. The second pattern is their endless need for validation from many places at once. Narcissists do not just enjoy praise, they depend on it. They need attention, approval, and admiration over and over again, like a person trying to fill a hole that never stays full. One compliment is not enough. One partner is not enough. One source of affection is rarely enough. They often keep several streams of validation open at the same time because they are afraid one source will dry up. This may show up as flirting, secret messaging, casual encounters, or chasing attention from strangers just to feel powerful for a moment. Even if they appear family-focused or stable on the surface, many narcissists secretly live in ways that feed this constant hunger. They love fast praise, quick excitement, easy ego boosts, and they will often hide these behaviors from the people closest to them so they can keep both worlds running side by side. One world is the clean public version. The other is the hidden one where they chase whatever gives them the fastest hit of attention. Keep listening, because this next part explains why they get bored so quickly. Their need is not calm, it is restless, it keeps moving, it keeps searching. And it usually leaves other people hurt in the process. The third pattern is a non-stop craving for novelty. For many narcissists, ordinary affection and normal intimacy stop feeling exciting very fast. What seems meaningful to a healthy partner may feel flat to them after a short time because they are always chasing a new thrill, a sharper rush, a different experience, something more intense than what came before. Even when the connection is real, they may still feel pulled toward more extreme or unusual experiences simply because regular closeness no longer gives them the same charge. What felt thrilling last month suddenly feels dull today. This constant search for more says a lot about how they see other people. They often do not see a partner as a full human being with emotional needs, limits, and dignity. Instead, they may start seeing that person as a source of stimulation, a tool, a mirror, an object that exists to meet their needs. And once a person becomes an object in their mind, empathy becomes weaker and boundaries become easier to ignore. That is when their choices can move into dangerous territory. The fourth pattern is their deep hatred of boredom and routine. Boredom feels almost unbearable to a narcissist. It is not just unpleasant, it feels threatening. Even if they are with someone attractive, supportive, loving, and fully available, it is often only a matter of time before they start scanning for something new. They are rarely content for long. They do not know how to sit peacefully inside a stable bond. Instead, they look outside the relationship for more excitement, more drama, more distraction. Then, when their restlessness grows, they often blame past partners for it. They may say previous relationships were boring, that other people were not adventurous enough, or that nobody ever understood them. But the deeper truth is often much simpler. They are not satisfied because they do not know how to be satisfied. That emptiness travels with them. It follows them from one person to the next. Same pattern, different face. The fifth pattern is the lack of real emotional intimacy. This one hurts in a very specific way. For a narcissist, physical closeness is often not about bonding. It is not about tenderness, trust, or a shared emotional moment. It is often about self-satisfaction first and last. Once their need is met, they may pull away almost immediately. No warmth, no deep conversation, no real after connection. The distance can feel cold and sudden, like the emotional door just slammed shut without warning. And this pattern does not stay only in intimate moments. It often reflects a larger emotional style that runs through the whole relationship. They struggle to create deep and lasting bonds because they consistently place their own desires at the center of everything. The partner becomes secondary. The experience becomes one-sided. Over time, this creates a painful back and forth where one week they seem loving and present, and the next week they feel distant, distracted, or emotionally absent. This swing is confusing on purpose. It keeps the other person unsure, reaching and trying harder to get back the warmth that seemed so easy in the beginning. And that is why a single moment should never be judged alone. Anyone can be tired, anyone can be distracted. But when someone repeatedly hides parts of themselves, constantly seeks validation, gets bored fast, avoids closeness after intimacy, and blames others for their own dissatisfaction, that is no longer random. That is a pattern, and patterns matter. If you are hearing your own relationship in these words, do not blame yourself for not seeing it sooner. Narcissists can be very convincing early on. Trust the discomfort you feel. It often notices the truth before your mind is ready to name it. If needed, talk to someone you trust, a friend, a family member, a counselor. Sometimes clarity starts when you finally say the pattern out loud. The sixth pattern is a hidden obsession with pornography. This is one of the more private and often overlooked habits many narcissists carry for years without anyone close to them knowing the full extent of it. What makes it so important is not just the behavior itself, but the secrecy, the intensity, and the way it connects to their need for control, escape, and stimulation. Many narcissists use pornography as a private world where they can feed cravings without having to deal with emotional closeness, accountability, or the real needs of another human being. It becomes a controlled outlet, a hidden habit, something carefully protected. They may consume it when a partner is away, busy, asleep, or simply not watching. They often manage time and privacy very deliberately, and that alone tells you something. The habit is not casual, it is guarded. In some cases, the material may become more unusual or extreme over time because ordinary content no longer gives the same effect. Just like in other parts of their life, they may need more novelty to stay interested. Small clues may appear eventually. Strange browser history, sudden defensiveness, hidden accounts, activity in adult online spaces that nobody would ever suspect from the polished person they present to the world. That is the double life again. The clean image on one side, the hidden hunger on the other. And the secrecy matters because it protects their mask. They work hard to keep these habits buried. Not only because they fear judgment, but because exposure would threaten the identity they worked so hard to build. When someone is deeply invested in looking one way while living another, secrecy becomes part of their power. That hidden layer can run for years, and by the time it is uncovered, a great deal of trust may already be broken. Stay with me, because the next sign can look harmless at first, but it often points to something much deeper under the surface. The seventh pattern is an unusual and sometimes obsessive focus on cleanliness. On the outside, this may look like excellent grooming or strong hygiene habits. And of course, good self-care by itself means nothing. But in some narcissists, the behavior goes further. It becomes repetitive, ritual-like, almost urgent. They may wash themselves many times a day, scrub intensely, or seem driven to stay constantly fresh and spotless. Sometimes this can reflect more than simple neatness. It may connect to a private effort to cleanse feelings they do not want to face, especially after secret behavior they know would damage their image if discovered. The more hidden conduct they engage in, whether that involves pornography, cheating, manipulation, or other acts they privately feel uneasy about, the more intense this urge to clean may become. It can feel as if they are trying to wash away something that is not really on their skin at all. Guilt, shame, fear of being found out, of being. And here is where it gets more revealing. That same person may harshly criticize a partner's hygiene, even when the partner is perfectly clean. This is often projection. They push their own inner discomfort onto someone else so they do not have to face it in themselves. It shifts attention, it creates blame, it protects the mask. The eighth pattern is a strong need for praise linked to intimacy. Narcissists often want to receive attention and pleasure far more than they want to give it. The balance leans toward them, and even when they do make an effort for a partner, it may not come from a warm desire to connect. It may come from wanting applause, wanting to be told they are amazing, unforgettable, better than anyone else. In other words, even generosity can become performance. The real goal is not closeness, it is admiration. They want the ego reward. They want the special title. They want to feel superior. And because of that, intimacy becomes less about two people meeting each other honestly and more about one person feeding on praise. The ninth pattern is a serious disregard for boundaries. This is one of the clearest and most damaging signs because it shows how distorted their sense of right and wrong can become when their own wants are involved. Many narcissists act as if rules apply to other people, but not to them. Agreements do not matter much if those agreements block what they want in the moment. A partner's comfort may not matter. A partner's limits may not matter. Even basic respect may not matter. If they feel like doing something, they often feel entitled to do it. That can show up as cheating, pushing past emotional or physical boundaries, manipulating someone into situations they did not truly agree to, or chasing people who are clearly unavailable. Immediate satisfaction takes priority. Consequences come later, if they think about them at all. The emotional damage they leave behind can be enormous, but they often move past it quickly because they are focused on their own need, not the wound they created. And then comes the 10th pattern, one of the saddest and most painful of all, the deep loneliness that grows inside a relationship with a narcissist. In the beginning, they may give a lot of attention, a lot of affection, a lot of focus. It can feel intense, beautiful, almost unreal. You may think you have found someone who truly sees you. But once their needs are met and the early excitement begins to fade, their energy often changes. The warmth cools, the attention drops, the affection grows thin or disappears. Suddenly, you are still in the relationship, but emotionally you feel alone. Very alone. You start asking what changed. You wonder what you did wrong. You try harder. You search for the version of them that existed in the beginning. But many times, the truth is painful and simple. You did not change. Their interests changed. The chase ended. And what is left behind is a quiet emptiness that can slowly damage your confidence and your sense of worth. If some of these patterns feel familiar, please remember this very clearly. You did not cause it and you did not deserve it. Understanding these behaviors is not about calling every difficult person a narcissist. It is about seeing repeated warning signs for what they are and giving your own instincts the respect they deserve. Healing from a relationship like this takes time, real time. Often it means learning how to trust yourself again after months or years of confusion, mixed signals, blame, and emotional fog. That rebuilding does not happen in one day. It happens slowly, through honesty, through distance, through safe people who remind you what normal care actually feels like. People who are consistent, people who do not keep you guessing, people who do not make you feel small just so they can feel powerful. If this message is speaking to your experience, keep going. Keep paying attention. Keep telling yourself the truth, even if it is uncomfortable. And if you think someone else may need these words too, share them. Sometimes the first step toward freedom is simply realizing that the pattern has a name. When you step back and look at the full picture, these signs rarely stand alone. The hidden self, the endless need for validation, the hunger for novelty, the hatred of boredom, the lack of emotional closeness, the secret attachment to pornography, the intense focus on cleanliness, the need for praise in intimate moments, the disregard for boundaries, and the loneliness that slowly settles over everything. One sign by itself can be explained away. Several signs repeating together over time tell a much deeper story. That is why patterns matter more than isolated moments. A bad day does not define a person. A repeated pattern often does. So if you are in a relationship where these signs keep showing up, give yourself permission to slow down and look honestly at what has been happening, not just how beautifully it started. The beginning can be convincing, very convincing, but your well-being matters more than the fantasy. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is believe what you have been feeling all along. And if you are still unsure, pay attention to how your body feels when you are around them. Your mind may try to explain things away. Your heart may still hold on to the good moments. But your body often tells the truth early. If you feel tense all the time, if you feel confused after simple conversations, if you keep doubting your own memory, your own feelings, or your own value, do not ignore that. Those signs matter. Healthy love does not leave you in a constant state of stress. Real care does not make you feel like you have to earn basic kindness. A safe relationship does not pull you in with warmth and then punish you with distance every time you begin to trust it. That cycle can make you feel addicted to the person, but what you are often chasing is not love. It is relief. Relief from the pain they keep creating. And that is why stepping back can feel so hard. You are not only letting go of a person. You are also letting go of the hope that things will finally become what they promised in the beginning. That hope can be powerful. It can keep people stuck for a long time. But hope without change can become a trap. So watch actions, not words. Watch patterns, not promises. Watch what happens again and again, especially after you express hurt, confusion, or limits. A person who truly cares may not be perfect, but they will show concern. They will reflect. They will try. A narcissist often does the opposite. They may deny, deflect, blame, charm, disappear, then return as if nothing happened. And each time the cycle becomes more exhausting. If this is your reality, do not rush yourself, but do not lie to yourself either. You do not need perfect proof to protect your peace. You do not need everyone else to understand before you take your own pain seriously. Sometimes the clearest truth is the one you have been feeling quietly for a very long time. If being with someone keeps making you feel smaller, more anxious, more lonely, and less like yourself, that matters. It matters a lot. You deserve honesty. You deserve respect. You deserve closeness that feels safe instead of confusing. And you deserve a relationship where love is not used as bait, silence is not used as punishment, and affection is not given only when it serves the other person. If this opened your eyes even a little, hold on to that clarity. It may be the beginning of something better. Not just a new relationship someday, but a new relationship with yourself. One built on trust, self-respect, and the courage to stop calling pain by the name of love.